What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more video game music. Shout out to the handful of people who've commented on the maybe half dozen video game music reactions I've done so far. Although the playlist, has gotten a few views, like more than some other playlists with a similar amount of videos. So it does seem like there are some people out there who enjoy listening to and talking about video game tracks going back 80s, 90s, etc. And indeed, this is a tune from 2000, right at the turn of the millennium. I reacted to one track from this game already, which is to say we're going to listen to a tune from Skies of Arcadia. I won't repeat myself from the other video, but it's a role-playing game where you explore parts of a world and you have to map out a world. So it's sort of like Age of Exploration, but it's all like air cities and, you sail in like airboats and so on. So yeah, it's a cool game. You play like a blue rogue, meaning like a pirate who, they basically steal from the rich and give to the poor. Also steal for their own purposes, but, they don't attack people who are unarmed or, who are just trying to, do business and so on. Bottom line, it's a cool game, and the music is very, very memorable, very well composed. I'm trying to remember the other track that I listened to. Oh yeah, it was the ice dungeon, and indeed we're gonna listen to another dungeon piece, although it's outdoors, and indeed it's at the very top of the mountain, above the cloud layer. But yeah, it's a tune called Ancient Temple Dungeon, and it's you're in a place that is essentially an analog for the Andes. You're basically playing oh, I can't believe I'm blanking on the name. Give me 1 second. But yeah, it's basically like an analog for the Inca. That's right. It's basically an analog for the Inca civilization, and it's whatchamacallit. It's like a very tribal, they're based in a jungle sort of environment with they live in trees and so on. But bottom line, you eventually have to try to get this crystal, and it's located at this ancient temple, and because the sort of caretakers of the temple realize that you're there for the right purposes and so on, they let you access it. And when you go up to this temple on the very top of the mountain, this is the music that plays. Now it's interesting because I reacted to, from the original Donkey Kong Country for Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, the tune Aquatic Ambience by David Wise. I feel like this tune, which came out, about 7-something years later, because again, this is 2000, I feel like this track is essentially like an homage to, or a conceptual successor for, David Wise's Aquatic Ambience from Donkey Kong Country. It just really has a lot of the same feel, although it's interesting. That's submerged underwater, and this is higher than anything, up on the very peak of the mountain, above the clouds even. A very rarefied space where very few people are ever lucky enough to go. So environmentally it's in a very opposite sort of setting, but oddly the theme and the feel is very similar, and it works in both cases. I mentioned this in the previous reaction to Skies of Arcadia, but the composers are Yutaka Minobe and Tatsuyuki Maeda. So yeah, with no further ado, this is their track called Ancient Temple Dungeon from the game Skies of Arcadia, which, if I didn't mention, is from the Sega Dreamcast originally. it's fair to say I love especially the first measure, like the opening of the tune. It really sets the stage perfectly. So yeah, it's a fantastic tune. It's a great game, and the music is partly why the game is so atmospheric. So once again, shout out to the composers. What is it? Yutaka Minobe and Tatsuyuki Maeda. So yeah, let me know what you think. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.